Good morning, everybody. This is Keith with SpreadSheet Sports, BoomersDaddy on FanDuel, KH0816 on DraftKings, Boomers DFS Daddy on Twitter. Give me a follow. I try to make things entertaining, and you can hear my aggravations along with the same time. So if you want to give us a follow, it's at SpreadSheet Sports on Twitter. At Sheet Sports on Twitter. Of course, we have the Google Community Plus page where it's Spreadsheet Sports and the communities. Got a lot of cool stuff coming to you today. Obviously, we've got a huge day in the DFS industry. 15 games. It's a Friday, big tournaments, some qualifiers, and you guys are about to see firsthand my step-by-step research process. As it pertains to narrowing down my player pool using the advanced metric sheets that Brian and I have worked on over the last month, and then then applying it to the old projections model to get the optimal lineups through the matchups and the players of the day. I want to go ahead and throw a disclaimer out there. It is early in the morning. Obviously, not one single lineup has been released yet. And we need to make sure that you understand that things can change and things will change as lineups are released. I've only started my basic research that is going through this. I've yet to know and get a feel for ownership percentages, what's good as far as tournaments, who to fade, who not to, stuff like that. That'll be released a little bit later on with my tournament article that's going to come out tonight or this afternoon, along with the game-by-game breakdown and matchups. So this is just the basic start of the research process. I've yet to even start to look at it. So you guys are going to get a feel of how I look for it stat by stat, and how everything how I kind of attack everything and approach everything. So the first thing I do normally, have not done it yet, is I will go through and I will write down the games, each and every single one of them. Basically the Vegas line, the money line, the run total, and then also go in there and, write down the projected team run totals for the afternoon or the evening slate. So have not done that part yet. It's something I'll do as soon as I get done here. That way I can make sure to give you guys a lot of information. But I wanted to start this process. That way you guys can kind of see how I go about things. This is just the start of my research process. This isn't the end. This isn't everything that I do, but it will give you a really, really good idea how I start to approach each and every slate, and how I go about doing things. So I'm going to run through it a little bit quicker than normal, and the only reason is because if I did it, it would take about step by step about 2.5 hours in order for you guys to get everything. And I don't think you want to sit here and listen to me talk for 2.5 hours. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet, as short and sweet as I possibly can. Try to keep it a little bit close to about 45 minutes or so, and do what I possibly can to kind of make sure that it's sped up for you guys. What I can do, if you guys want me to, is I can make a Word template outline for the step-by-step on how I kind of do things. That way it'll give you a basic hardcore research process step-by-step to follow. So I might do that and kind of put it out there as far as another article. In fact, I've just made the decision. Yep, that quick. I will be doing that, and I will do that. Will be released before my tournament play article this afternoon. So I'll do that as soon as I get done here, and that way you guys know everything that's kind of going on. So as you can see, we've kind of added a couple more tabs today than what we had yesterday, and the reasoning for that is I wanted to be able to sort based on FanDuel or DraftKings. Obviously, we have players that that play on one or the other. I play on both. So I felt like that was something that we needed to have. That way we can sort based off of either one. We know the salaries based off either one, and we can take it as far as there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the teams page, and since the Cubs and Giants play this afternoon, I'm going to take the Cubs and the Giants out of there so we don't worry about any of them, and then we can go through everything else accordingly. So the first thing I'm going to do, or the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to sort here on BABIP. I'm going to go largest to smallest because I want to know who I can target as far as hitters against. Okay. So I'm going to go through here and, okay, I've got Nate Eovaldi, Iglesias, Kelly, Danks, and Zimmerman. I'm going to write down the first 5. So I've got Eovaldi, Iglesias, Kelly, Danks, and Zimmerman. This is total BABIP. Okay. That's batting averages versus balls in play. Okay. And I can also go through here and I can see that 4 of these 5 have a pretty high whip, and that's walks plus hits over innings pitched. That's basically how many base runners they allow per inning pitched. You can see here that Joe Kelly is the highest out of the 5, and then it goes Nate Eovaldi, John Danks, Iglesias, and then Zimmerman. And that's important because if guys are pitching with traffic and they allow a high BABIP, then that means they allow a lot of runs to be scored. You can see that they have higher ERAs and they have higher run totals as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to home and road ERA, and I'm going to go and I'm going to start sorting, and I'm going to go through all of these as well. The great thing about it is that I can sit there and I can look at it and I can basically pick out exactly who struggles on the road, who's good on the road, who's good at home, and who struggles at home. And this is something that I don't think a lot of players look at. I think it's something that's overlooked by a lot of your casual players. That's why I have it in here. It's something that can give you an advantage where you need one, okay? And then I also want to look at the K per 9. I want to see if my batters are going to strike out against this pitcher or if they have a higher proponency to strike out against this pitcher. Oops, too far. Okay. So let's do this and view, freeze pane, first column. Okay. So I want to see if my batters are going to strike out a lot. You can see that we've got Anderson, Pelfrey, Cravey, Dickey, and they have the lowest strikeout potential. So that's good for us. We know that if we pick players from those games, those teams that are facing them, then we don't have to worry about a lot of people striking out. Now, obviously, with baseball, there's a lot of variance. There's a lot of anomalies that happen. You have Joe Madden that pulls, in my opinion, his best starter all year in the 4th inning after allowing 2 runs and a couple hits, and that just tilted me to all end, and I was cussing and yelling at Joe Madden for it. So that was something that was not fun last night. Then you can go through here, and I want to go to the next one after I do home and road ERA and K per 9. I want to go to WOBA versus righties. I want to go largest to smallest. Okay, and now I've got Danks, Kelly, Cravey, Anderson, and Iwakuma. Okay, and then I can go WOBA to lefties. And I got Norris, Nola, Eovaldi, Iglesias, and Tehran. Okay. So now that I've got that, I've got a good starting point. Okay. Now, obviously, we score the most punts. We score the most points when our hitters hit home runs, right? So guess what? We've got these home run totals in here as far as splits are concerned. Okay. And I want to make sure that I differentiate myself. So I'm not, if Kershaw happens to be in this, then it's not like I'm going to not write him down because he's Clayton Kershaw, because everybody could be on Clayton Kershaw tonight. I don't know yet. I know his prices are outrageous, but it's something that you can look at, and you have to write everything down. If something doesn't look right, then go back and research it later, but make sure you write it down. That way you, one, know that you have to go back and research it and look deeper into it, but two, because you don't want to miss anything that other people are going to see. These stats are readily available. They're on Fangraphs. We've just basically put them all into one simple spreadsheet for us, and made it very accessible and easy to sort through all the statistics that we wanted. So I've got Hamels, Danks, De La Rosa, Tehran, Dickey, and Kershaw. Okay, and the reason I've included those three is because they've all allowed 9 runs. So I've got 6 there. But what I also do is I go down and I write the home runs per 9 innings. And the reason I do this is, as we can see, Kershaw's allowed 9 home runs, the same as Julio Tehran, but Kershaw's home runs per 9 inning is much lower than Tehran's for this. So this is important because this is going to basically let me know who I want to target the most. And depending on if I'm in cash games or GPPs or qualifiers, any type of tournament or anything like that, I know that, okay, so for cash games, I can target right-handed batters versus Tehran. But for tournaments, sorry, I can target right-handed batters against Kershaw if there's a good matchup there, because not a lot of people are going to be on him. So that's a good way to go and a good way to look at it. I'll do the same for left here. Let's see here. Go to here. So I've got Shields, Tehran, Dickey, Zimmerman, Lynn, and Iwakuma. And this is something to look at when you go to Iwakuma right here. You're talking about a guy that doesn't face a lot of left-handed batters, obviously, it looks like. But where his power, he's allowed it this year, has been to left-handed bats. So with Texas, you can see here and you can look with left-handed bats, okay, I can go Prince Fielder, Mitch Moreland, places like that, because he does allow a 1.91 home runs per 9 inning to left-handed bats. Okay. So after I've done all that, I'm going to go down here to the stats at the end, and I'm going to go opponent WOBA against. This is basically the opponents that they're facing. This is their WOBA versus the handedness of pitcher that they're facing this year. So basically what that means is Toronto's WOBA versus right-handed pitching is a 337 this year, okay? Obviously, that's very good, and obviously it's helped out a little bit because of the ballpark. But with that said, that doesn't mean that they won't hit right-handed pitching that well, because especially when they're going from hitter's ballpark to hitter's ballpark, there's not that much of an adjustment that needs to be made. The next one, obviously, you have Dickey, then Jordan Zimmerman, Joe Kelly, Garrett Cole, and John Gray. Or sorry, not John Gray, Sonny Gray. And even though there's a couple good pitchers on here, Zimmerman, Cole, and Gray, I still write them down because this is where you can start to see some stuff where you can possibly capitalize off of chaos if we've got a lot of good matchups in that side. So after we've done that, we're going to go down here to ISO, and we're going to go largest to smallest. Obviously, you've got Sonny Gray in Houston. You have Valdi in Toronto, Dickey, Cole, and Zimmerman. Okay. So we've got all that. Wow, I didn't realize the Rockies ISO had dropped that much. About 2 weeks ago, obviously it was before the Tulowitzki trade, but about 2 weeks ago, they were almost up to 190. So it looks like they've been struggling versus right-handed pitching. Obviously, when you lose Troy Tulowitzki, you're going to be struggling a little bit as far as the power is concerned. When you've only got basically Cargo and Arenado in that lineup that could hit with power consistently. They dropped William Rosario to AAA, so I could go on and on about the Rockies. I know that. But we're going to write all this down. Of course, I'm going to go all the way down to 7, so I'm going to go all the way down, it looks like, to Joe Kelly at 155. And it always helps to pull up on Fangraphs what the league averages are. The way that we've got these filters and color coding set is the min point is going to show up white, and that's about league average as far as how we've got it. And then obviously the darker red it gets, the worse it is for pitchers, and the greener gets, the better it is for pitchers. Everything on this sheet is looking at it from a pitcher's perspective. A good ERA is going to show up green. A bad one is going to show up red. Good K/9 and good whip and BABIP are going to show up green. And so the same goes with this. A bad opponent's BABIP for a pitcher's perspective is going to be red. And then a good opponent's K percentage as far as from a pitcher's perspective is going to be green. So it's the easy way to kind of determine exactly what you're looking at. If you really, really look at it, then you've got a combination of a tournament play right here. Just from first glance, Sonny Gray, he allows a bad, or Houston obviously has a good WOBA against right-handed pitching and a good ISO versus right-handed pitching, but they obviously can strike out a lot. So we've said it all year, Houston's kind of boom or bust. But with Carlos Gomez in there now, they're going to normalize just a little bit because of his numbers. So after I go through all of this, I've got a full sheet full of pitchers I can target, okay? And then I'm going to go over here to my projections tool. And after I've refreshed to today, I'm going to go over here to projections. I'm going to make sure my prices line up. I'm on FanDuel. I've got obviously my settings and everything. I don't need my season minimum plate appearances. I'm going to sort largest to smallest over here. This will give me an idea of the projections that I'm looking at. Okay. Obviously, I've got my value as well. Why is Clayton Kershaw not showing up? That's because I have this. Okay. So, sorry, I had this done from yesterday. So we're going to go boom, 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 boom. Okay. So now let's redo this here. Go to projections, customize this projection, sort largest to smallest, and boom. Okay. And then you've obviously got your value as well. The reason I am not including the Cubs White Sox or the Cubs Giants game is because they start at 4:05 Eastern. And in all of your big tournaments tonight, they will not be included in the slate. So after this, I'm going to do a basic run model. Okay. And we see here that according to just my projections, before I start excluding and locking anybody and picking out my player pool, I have got an optimal lineup as of 10 o'clock this morning. Okay. So what I will always do is I will always write down this original optimal lineup on another sheet of paper. Okay. And I will put a timestamp by it for me. So at 10 a.m., I've got my page of optimal lineups. And I'll run about 50 of these throughout the day, guys. So just keep in mind that this is going to be quick, short, and my research goes throughout the whole day, along with writing articles on a podcast and stuff like that, now that everything's getting kind of normalized. So I will make sure that I put 10 a.m. Central Time, obviously, and I will obviously put FanDuel. Okay. Now, there will be some players that are good values on FanDuel that aren't on DraftKings, and then vice versa, and then some that are both. So first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield, outfield, outfield. I will also write down my total salary and my projected points. Okay, so my projected points is going to be 45.63 and 34,700. Okay. Now, I want to let you guys know here that over the last couple days, I've been running these, and I run a lot of just this first basic optimal lineup in cash games, as far as like head-to-heads and stuff like that, just to kind of keep a track of exactly how they do. And they've been doing really, really well lately. Obviously, yesterday was kind of a fluke because Jason Hamill got freaking pulled in the fourth inning. And Chris Heston allowed 5 runs and ended up – I had the optimal lineup team on DraftKings yesterday evening had a negative points as far as pitchers. You can chalk that up to variance. It's not something that happens very often. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to do my conditional formatting and good to green, and go here and good to green. And then I'm going to highlight A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. I'm going to go to sort filter, and I'm going to lock the filters, okay? And then I'm going to save. And I save multiple times throughout the day. So now I have the ability, and I'm going to do this on, I've already done it on DraftKings, so, or FanDuel. Let's redo this here. Okay. And obviously, I'm going to do this multiple times throughout the day. I'm going to run a bunch of these projections and make sure that it backs up with my research. Obviously, my research backs up how I put in the player pools, so we know how that goes there. Okay, so I'm going to write this down real quick. So, and this is before I add in any stacks or anything like that. So I've got Haney, Castillo. And the reason I do this, Teixeira, is because I want to know that the numbers I'm looking at and the research I'm doing is backing up what the projection tool is going with as well. Okay. Don't be alarmed if you find some differences in it. There are going to be, obviously, because right now I haven't excluded or included anybody because I haven't gone through the whole research process. And obviously lineups at 10 o'clock are not out yet. So after I've done all this and I've got my first optimal lineup and rundown, okay, I'm going to go back over here to my advanced metric sheet, and I'm going to go to daily hitter analysis, okay? And I still have this from yesterday. Boom, boom. And let's see here. Okay. Take out the Cubs and the Giants, obviously, and then you just start running down the list of positions, okay? So I go catcher, And then I write down, I go sort largest to smallest. And what I have also done before this is I've taken out anybody that has at bat or less than 20 plate appearances versus that handedness of pitcher. I don't want small sample sizes. I want about as large sample sizes as I possibly can. That way I can make sure I'm not missing anything at all. So now that I've got that, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to write them down. Go back to a new sheet of paper here. And looks like I've got Hank Conger, Kurt Casale, Yasmani Grandal, Wellington Castillo, and Travis Dionard. Okay. So after that, we're going to go down here to runs created plus. And I've got Conger, Cervelli, Hannigan, Jaso, and Grandal. And then I'm going to go to BABIP. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. And you'll notice in here that we have a guy by the name of Oscar Hernandez that is a catcher with Arizona. I'm not for sure 100% what is when this was all taken into account. I'm going to guess that it was taken into account recently because of the fact that he has not shown up until now. But this is something that we'll obviously look into a little bit later on. But I am going to write him down because he is in that top 5. Okay. So I'll write him down and then I'll go through Woba and do that again. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to do the exact same thing for each position through first base, second base, third base, shortstop, and then on outfield, I'm actually going to do the top 15 at each. Okay. At ISO, weighted runs created plus, BABIP, and WOBA. Okay. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to do this because I don't think you guys want to see and watch me do each position. It'll take about 35 minutes or so for me to write everything down. And then I will come back and show you exactly what's going on. So Okay, now that I've got all this stuff wrote down, hopefully that the edit kind of went through kind of nicely. So now that I've got all this stuff wrote down and everything, as you can see, we need to go back here. I'm going to go back to all. We can kind of look at a bunch of stuff. You can also, I did everything as far as this on FanDuel. You can do the exact same on DraftKings salary. You can sort over here by the DraftKings salary. You can go the first bases, and it'll pull up just the first bases and stuff like that. But I'll do everything as far as FanDuel because their position eligibility is a lot simpler. I'll go over here to now that I've done all the hitters and stuff, I want to go over here and look at pitchers I want to have in my lineups and have the optimizer choose from. So I'll go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to whip. I'm going to go smallest to largest. And this is important because on DraftKings, you want to have players with low whips because you don't want them allowing a lot of hits or walks because those are negative points against you. And DraftKings is an efficiency site as far as pitchers are concerned. So I want low whip players. So I'm going to write down the top 5. And then I'm going to go to BABIP. And I've already done this, so I'm just going to go through real quick. I'll go through BABIP. Okay. And then I'm going to go through home and road ERA. And you can kind of see everything here. And then I'm going to go through K per 9. Oops. Okay. And then I'm going to go through WOBA to righties, WOBA to lefties. Here I'm going to go also with total WOBA. And the reasoning for that is if they have a huge split, like you can see here, Aaron Nola has a huge split between WOBA to righties and WOBA to lefties. Then you want to make sure that you get you know that. That way, if the let's see here. If the Padres, who are right-handed heavy, throw out a lineup, then I know I can include him. So he looks, and I've already done this, writing everything down. He looks like he's going to be a very good tournament play tonight, okay, because he allows a WOBA to righties, and they don't have a lot of left-handed bats in their lineup, okay? And he's in a good pitcher's ballpark. Then I can go here to home runs, opponent's WOBA, opponent's ISO, and opponent's K percentage. Okay. So after we've done all this, we've got all this research done, and we've figured it all out as far as getting it taken care of. Then we can go down here to our projections tool, and we can start choosing people to actually throw in our lineups and who we can target against. Okay. The biggest thing that I'll do is on another sheet of paper. I know I've got like 15 different sheets, but I'll start to put stars and stuff by players that are showing up in a lot of lineups, or not a lot of lineups. I'm sorry. A lot of the stuff that I've wrote down. And what I mean by that is you'll see here in a second, you'll see like John Danks shows up in a lot of the statistics that I want to target for pitchers. And you'll see Julio Teheran, and you'll see a bunch of these start to show up. And so I want to make sure that I have a lot of exposure to them, if it's in cash games or if it's in GPPs, because I can pay attention throughout the day who is going to be my projections, or who is going to be in the chatter, and kind of get an idea of projections owned and stuff like that. So I've got Eovaldi, that shows up in a bunch of them. And then I've got Iglesias that shows up in a bunch of them. And I've got Danks that shows up in a bunch of them. And I've got Kelly that shows up in a bunch of them. Looks like Tehran shows up in a bunch of them, and Dickey shows up in a bunch of them. Okay. And then let's see here. I've got Dickey. Looks like Jordan Zimmerman shows up in quite a bit as well. There's one, two. Okay, we're going to leave Jordan Zimmerman off just for a little bit. Okay, so I've got those that show up in a bunch of them. So Eovaldi, he's going against Toronto. Iglesias. Let's see here. Let's go back to that one real quick. Iglesias is going against Arizona. Danks going against Kansas City. Kelly is going against Detroit. Tehran is going against Miami. And Dickey is going against the Yankees. Okay. Now that I've got that, I can go back over here to my projections model. And remember when we put filters in all this, this is so everything stays together. And if we lock this top guy right here, if something changes, then that X or L stays with Clayton Kershaw, and it doesn't just stay in the one spot. So that's a good thing for us to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the position players, and this also helps us filter at the same time. Or let's start with the pitchers. Okay, so I go over here to my pitchers page that I have wrote down, and all together with everything that I do, it takes me all day, but once you get the process of this and going on, it should only take you about 30 minutes or so, depending on how much you write down and how many notes you take. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start excluding. I need to exclude the pitchers I want to target. So let's see here. Those pitchers that I had wrote down that were in a bunch of them, we're going to be, Joe Kelly, X. John Danks, X. Iglesias, X. Dickey, X. And Tehran showed up a bunch of X as well. So I've excluded all those guys, okay? So now that I've got all those excluded, you can go through here, and if you don't want to choose Mike Pelfrey, then you can X him and stuff like that. But that's just basically on you. What I do is I try to eliminate a lot of things But pitchers are something that I'm always open to because anybody can come out and throw a great game, and anybody can come out and lay a stinker as well. So now that I've got that, I'm going to go through here to my positions players, and I'm going to start Xing out everybody that I don't think is a good play, in my opinion. Okay. So I go back over here to my first base. Okay. And there are very few people that I'll leave in no matter what, even if they're not on the top 5 of my big ones. But we're going to do this for cash games first. Okay. And with cash games, I'm going to, let's go back here to pitchers here real quick. I wrote down 6 pitchers that I want in my lineups as far as cash games that I can choose from. And if it's not one of those 6 pitchers, I'm going to exclude them. Okay. For tournaments, it's a little bit different because, like I said, everything can be excluded. So I've got Dallas Keuchel, Jacob deGrom, Andrew Haney, Sonny Gray, Clayton Kershaw, and Fernandez. So let's see here. Cole, X. Lynn, X. Shields, X. Hamels, X. Nolan, X. And I'll just go down here and I'll start Xing all of these guys out. So Optimizer does not choose between any of those guys for my cash games. Okay. So you'll see I've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers that I'm willing to put in my cash game lineups. Okay. And then I'll go down here to first base and I'll just do the exact same thing. Go back over here to first base here. I'm flipping between pages here, guys, so bear with me. Okay. First base here. I've got Teixeira. He's good. And what I look for as far as pitcher or position players is I want them, if it's a tournament team, I want them to be in the top of the ISO, the runs created plus, and the WOBA. Okay. So I'll go 3 out of the 4. If it's a cash game, I want them to be 3 out of the 4 as far as runs created plus, BABIP, and WOBA. If they're in with the ISO, awesome, fantastic. If not, I don't make it it doesn't have to be in there as far as ISO. Okay, so we're going to go cash games. So my first one was Paul Goldschmidt. Second one was Mark Teixeira. Okay, so Teixeira's in there. Votto, he's in there. Duda is not in any of them, so he's an X. Abreu is in BABIP, but he's not in any of the other ones, so he's an X. Goldschmidt's in there. Hosmer is not in any of them, so he's an X. Howard, X. Davis, X. Carter, X. Morales, X. X, X, X. Ortiz, no. Okay, Napoli, no. Pujols, yes. Zimmerman, no. Paulson, no. Gonzalez, no. Crone, no. Fielder. Fielder is a yes. So Goldie, Teixeira, Votto, Fielder, Egon. Egon. I'm sorry. So Egon's in 2. The 3. So yeah, I told you 3 out of the 4. I meant 2 out of the 3. Sorry. So let's see here. Goldie, yes. Teixeira, yes. Votto, yes. Fielder, yes. Egon, yes. Pujols, no. So Pujols is an X. Okay, and then Morales, no. Lynn, no. Okay, so now that you've got it settled, you've got it looks like 4. Obviously, your cash game lineups are going to be a little bit, or you got 5, are going to be a little bit shorter as far as the choosings than your tournament lineups, but that's okay. Cash games are quote unquote safer. So that's the reason why you do that. And then I go through here and I do every single position. So I write down, who's 2 out of 3 out of cash game, who's 2 out of 3 as far as tournaments. And I go through there. We're just going to do cash games. The tournament things, the exact same. You'll have a larger field because I include the 2 out of 3, but I include the ISO as well. So let's see here. Catcher looks like Conger, Cervelli, Hannigan, Jaso, Grandal. So it looks like we have 5 catchers to choose from. Oh, wait, we just did second base. Second base looks like we've got Rojas, Shoop, Zobrist, De Jesus, Goslin, shortstop. Looks like we've got Correa, Bogarts, Kang, Kong, Suarez, okay, third base, Sano, Machado, Carpenter, A-Rod, okay. And then the outfield one's going to be the one that takes a while. So bear with me just a minute here. Outfield. We've got Cruz, Robinson, Harper, Trout, Kane, Piscotti, Santana, Tucker, Cargo, J Mart, Moreland, Anderson. Krichik. Robertson. Okay. So now that we've got all that done, we can start going through here and locking and loading here. Like I said, we'll do the same thing for tournaments. I won't bore you with all of the actual going through, but so we've got Zobrist. Okay. Phillips is not on that list. Drew is not. Kinsler not. On the Shoop is Jerko. And since there only looks to be 2 on my list, because the Jesus is down here with no projections, I'll do more research into looking into why. But for now, we'll just keep it going. Next is going to be third base. We've got Sano, Machado, Carpenter, and A-Rod. So there's A-Rod, Carpenter, Chisenhall's out, Donaldson's out, Headley's out, Lamb, Splarte, Castellanos, Eric Campbell, Miguel Franco. Who was the other one? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the rest of them are pretty much just. Obviously, this is going to change throughout the day, guys. I'm just giving you a basic rundown. Hopefully, there's enough value in here that works to make the salaries work. For catchers, we've got Conger, Savelli, Hannigan, Jaso, and Grandal. So let's see here. Castillo's not on that list. Gomes, Norris, Martin, Hunley. No Castro. And Leaders, Hannigan. Right? Yeah. No Gaddis, no Prevel. Cervelli, Avila, McCann, LaCroix, Rupp, Mizuno, Vmart. And then we've got Hank Conger in there. Okay. Oops. I guess Alex Avila with a double X. So it's got some 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Next is going to be, let's do shortstop first. And we've got for shortstop Correa, Bogart, Kang, and Suarez. So Didi, you're out. Tulo, you're out. Reyes, Lindor, Kane, Correa, Desmond, Iglesias. Ooh, wait, nope. Too much, too fast. Hardy, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll just go down the rest of these. Okay, and now we've got the big one, which is outfield right here. And we've got Adam Eaton, no. Carlos Gonzalez, yes. Jay Bruce, no. Kane, yes. Ellsbury, no. Gritchick, yes. Brantley, no. Batista, no. Bird, no. Gardner, no. Granderson, yes. Cabrera, no. Cruz, yes. Blackman, no. Beltran, no. Oops. Trout, yes. Hayward, no. Parra, no. Brown, Hamilton, Rosario, Braun, Davis, Upton, Pollock, Suchu, JD Mart, Shreddick, there's Harper and Ciarte, and then Peralta, Ingram, Camp, Patchen, Mason, Taylor, Tay, yes, Hicks, no, Moreland, yes, no, no, Thomas, no, Rasmus, Gomez, a little bit faster here for us. Kelly Johnson, no. Seth Smith, no. Jim Peterson, no. Robertson. I don't know. It's Stubbs. And the reason on outfielders why I continue to go down is because if it's not in the quote unquote starting lineup, it's not going to show by Dexter Fowler. He's scheduled to score 0 points because obviously we excluded that game. But Alex Guerrero could find his way in the lineup, So it's just the default lineups. So throughout the day, as this changes, I want to know who can be in there as well. And there's a lot of outfielders. So just start going up the list. Okay, because Piscotti I want in. So I'll do that and that. Hard. See, Domingo Santana, I believe, is in a bunch of those. Yep. So you'll have to scroll down through a bunch of these to be able to get everything going. So I've got those. Let's see here. Shane Robinson's in. Okay. Robinson. It's Clint Robinson, not Shane Robinson. Sorry. That's something else you got to be careful of. Some of these guys have the same last name. I've hit myself a couple times because of that. And then I need Kritchik. Or did I already get him? Let's see, Preston Tucker, Jake Franker. Now, remember, guys, this is cash game, so the player pool is going to be smaller. Obviously, if you need to, or if you feel differently because you like a good matchup or you see a good matchup, then you can go through here. I'm just showing you this as an example of how I do things and how to apply that projections tool in with what we have. So is up there. Granderson. Saw him. Where did he go? Yep, he's there. Okay. Now that I've got all this done, then I'm going to go back here and I've got to select all in order for it to all show back up again. And then I'm going to run my optimizer and hopefully I've got enough value just by everything. Yep, it sure is. Shows that I've done that. Now I can have an optimal cash game lineup as far as what I have. And what I'll do is I will write this down next to what the spreadsheet automatically popped out and I can compare. So I'll go Haney, Jaso, Votto, Zobrist, Sano. How many O's can I have? Bogarts, Cargo, Kane, and Grichuk. Okay, and I've got 35K and a projected of 40.42. And you can see that the projections are not that far off. And I will make a note that this is the optimized through my sheets. So that's kind of a little bit of how I do it. Obviously, the tournament lineups are going to be a little bit bigger. You got a bigger player pool, but that's how I narrow down my player pool in order for me to know what I'm looking at based on the numbers that the advanced metric tool actually produces. So, guys, this is Keith with SpreadSheet Sports. Obviously, if you have any questions, then hit me up on the Google Plus page, on Twitter at BoomersDFSDaddy, on Twitter at Sheet Sports, and we can chit chat and answer any of your questions. So hope you have a good day. Hope this helped. And if you have any questions, just give me a holler. Bye.